If that's the case, Ken McGarian here, I'll get this going, folks, and okay, hopefully the Mike will join us, I hope. All right, let's begin our meeting here. January 10th, first meeting of the year. Of course, we're all thrilled that we're on Zoom here. Just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Anyway, Chapter 20, Acts 21-22, COVID-19 protection, the measures and all that business will be remote. No in-person attendance. We all know all that. Let's see, we will post city's website audio recording transcript. And we'll call to order. If anybody is taping this because they think this is going to be the most wonderful meeting that they've ever heard or seen, that you have to let us know. I'm not hearing anybody yelling or raising their hands because I'm not looking. We're going to get going here. So, approval of minutes.
Make a motion.
Vin, I can't hear you.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, Vince has made a motion to approve the minutes of November, because we didn't have a meeting in December. I've looked them over. We have a second by Scott. Hope everybody on the board here has had a chance to look them over. I have. Does anybody have anything to add, subtract, change, edit? Hearing nothing, we'll move the question. All those in favor, and I'm going to do it this way, and if they shoot me for it, that's okay. I can take it.
Ken, yeah, you have to do a roll call, Ken.
Yes, of course I do. Sure, I knew that. I just wanted to see if anybody was, going to catch me on that. Good catch. All right. All those in favor of accepting the November minutes as they are printed and given to us. We'll begin with Sarah.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Vince.
Yes.
Doug.
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't there at the last meeting.
Okay. All right. I'm not missing anybody, am I?
Jane.
Okay. Oh, Jane. I'm sorry. Oh, Jane, you're right there, Jane. Yeah. I'm sorry. Jane.
Now, I wasn't at the last meeting either, but can I say yes because I've read the minutes?
You can say whatever you'd like, Jane.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Okay. So, and I say yes. So the minutes are accepted as they are printed and distributed to us. So we will move on here. Anybody with us? I know we've got about 16 or so for public participation.
Ken, Mike will be here shortly.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Thanks, Scott. But do we have anyone here for public participation?
Yes, Joe Delaney from the Westfield Veterans Council.
Okay. All right, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay. We have put our calendar together for the 2022 year. Okay. And we have permits requests there for the use of the parks. So like in April, we have Vietnam Veterans Recognition Day. We are going to try bringing back the
Kenny's point of order. Kenny,
okay.
He's on the agenda.
Oh, this is on the agenda. I just wanted to.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Joe Delaney, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Joe, I do see that you are down here. Well, on
okay.
The yes. Okay.
Okay. All right, then I'll speak at that time. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott, for pointing that out. Anyone else that's not on the agenda that would like to speak?
I think I'm on the agenda, but it's for St. John's Lutheran Church.
Yes, Bill?
Yep,
Yes, you're down. You're down as well, Bill. Yes.
okay, all
Okay.
good.
All right, so we will go with our line items here for the agenda. Sonia Pease, would you be here?
I am here.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Hi,
Sonia.
thanks for putting me on your agenda. I
Absolutely,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm here as it states, on behalf of like Elm Pizza and family and friends of a woman who passed away last summer. I have some photos if you want them, both of the park. So it is, we're requesting permission to add a bench to the Women's Temperance Park, next to the river. I did not see any other benches there at all. I was there today. I took photos. We are willing to purchase the bench with collected funds and with Elm Pizza securing any of the financial burden that's left over. And I just want some guidance. I want to make sure I get before we make the purchase, we want to get the right bench that you guys want there. And we're hoping it's okay to just put a little plaque on the back in memory of her and her little dog. She walked her dog there every day, sort of thing. I don't know, never done this before. I'm hoping for guidance. I also have a few benches on my computer. If you need me to screen share, I can.
Okay. We have had requests like this before. I cannot recall off the top of my head the exact procedure that we followed. Don't even know if that's even that we have an application form for anything like that. Does anybody on the board here have anything to ask or mention here? Yes. Oh, okay.
Hey, Ken.
Hey, there he is.
Sorry I'm late. I don't know why I had this on my calendar at 6:30. So I was just sitting here working away and saw Scott's text. So I apologize for being a few minutes late here. Which agenda item are we working on, Ken?
We are working on the first one, Sonia Pease. She has just gave us a little bit of a overview of what she's looking for. And so the Mike, if you could take over.
I sure will. Thanks, Ken. And thanks everybody again. Sorry for my tardiness here. Sonia, so do you have like a bench picked out? Do you have like any idea of like where you might want it situated within Women's Temperance Park?
Actually, we're really open to working with you guys and wherever you want it to go, kind of thing. If it overlooks the river, that's kind of all we were really thinking. She used that park every day with her little dog. And I have several benches in mind because I want it to be, before we purchase it, we want your okay. So.
Okay. I guess my suggestion would be if you guys have like one or two or maybe three, if we can narrow 3 different styles or something. If you want to bring those examples to the commission, we can kind of take a look at it. This is a tough, just a tough meeting for it, just because Scott Hathaway, who would be kind of the person who would coordinate actually putting it there and everything, is not with us. But normally, if you brought, like some pictures of, a couple different benches, we could kind of look through them. If you had one specific that you thought was, one that you guys, you and the folks at Elm Pizza really liked, we could go through that and work with Scott to coordinate, when it comes in, where it should be placed. We can meet up down there even and kind of map out a place where we think it'd be good. Scott's really good at all that. We can kind of go down there and just kind of figure out where we need it to go. And then the commission can vote on it. we usually wouldn't vote without like, some examples and just kind of knowing where it's going to go. So, but I think this is a great, great kick.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I do have examples today if you want me to screen share them. But I can also wait, whatever's best for you. If you want to wait for your person, Ken, I think you mentioned. Peggy gave me guidelines, what she thought might be in line with what you wanted. So I searched Home Depot and Amazon and different sites. And I do have some examples. I know that the ones around town are metal black benches. And so that's kind of basically what I was searching from. I have everywhere from $300 to $1,200 range benches that are ground securable that you can bolt into the ground. That was my search. And so I do have examples if you want to see them. And I'm also willing to take time and come back another time or whatever I need to do.
If you have like maybe one or two that we could take a quick look at, that would be helpful. The other thing I would suggest is we should coordinate with Scott, and I believe Scott's away at the moment, but we should coordinate with Scott and maybe go walk down there one day and just kind of do a site visit and see how everything's situated down there, where we might be able to put it. I think that would help the commission just kind of figure out, what their thoughts were. In terms of placement. And
Mike, how long will Scott be away? He's at guard duty?
I am not sure, Vinny.
Because I agree. He's
I think he
coordinating.
gets back Friday.
He's out Friday.
I think he gets back around Friday. So he should be back for next week.
Okay.
I'm willing to meet with you guys and then come back with my bench examples. If you like, we could do it that way. We're very accommodating at this point.
What's your time frame, Sonia, for wanting to put this in? I'm assuming springtime?
By July. So we have plenty of time.
Okay, we got plenty of time. So why don't we put you on the February agenda? I don't know that I have your contact information, but I'll have Peggy reach out and we'll set up some time to walk down there and just take a look at where everything, hopefully the weather will hold out for us.
Okay, I can put my contact info in the chat. And I just really want to thank you for having us today. Or me, myself.
Mike, can I just mention one thing? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know who I just interrupted. But
Go ahead,
the last bench we had donated was, I believe, the one for the Lucier family. And that was at the Holyoke Road intersection, Elman, whatever, Holyoke Road. And they did that bench with a name plaque. So that might be a good example to look at, just because that's, I think, the last one that I recall approving.
That's the one at the corner there by the drugstore?
Yes.
What used to be the
triangle. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Can't remember the name of the park. I know we were up there looking for potential putting art up there. I can't
It was
remember.
like Wojciechowicz or something like that.
So Sonia, yeah, if you want to text me your contact info via the chat, I'd be happy to reach out when Scott's back and we can set up some time to do a site visit.
Thank you, and good luck with your meeting today.
Thank you.
Mike, I was going to mention maybe Sonia would like to go up there and take a look at that bench.
I
Yep,
actually live on Root Road and I see that bench every day.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Beautiful.
perfect. All right. Thanks, Sonia. Okay, next up, Bill Schneelock, St. John's Lutheran Church, Park Square permit Sunday, April 17th, Easter sunrise service, 5:45 a.m. to 7 a.m. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Yeah, we traditionally always have a sunrise service. We used to do it up on top of Proven Mountain. And then, the Springfield Water Department had a change in management, so we can't do that anymore. Last year, I at the last minute, really, the week before Easter, I reached out to the mayor and, we made it work. So what we're looking to do is have a sunrise service. I think sunrise on April 17th, according to my computer here, is at 6:07 a.m. So we'll probably get there about 5:45, begin the service, and it shouldn't last any more than 7 o'clock. There may be 40 people, if we're really lucky, there gathering. We will need the power turned on because we have a PA to, share the word with folks that are there. But like I said, last year we did it, and I have, friends in the police department and let them know about it. And we pretty much, let everybody know what we were going to do, and it went off, without any issue at all. So just looking to get permission to do that again.
Same thing, basically same thing as last year, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, any questions from any of the commissioners? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Made by Vinnie Alinsky. Is there a second?
Second,
Is that Scott that said second first? Scott, did you say second?
Scott can have it.
Okay, Scott LeBombard with the second. Any additional comments? Okay, seeing none. Scott LeBombard. You're on mute, Scott.
Yes.
Sarah Unger. Did we lose Sarah? We'll come back to Sarah. Ken McGarrian.
yes.
I'm here. I'm just frozen. Sorry.
Okay. You were a yes, Sarah?
I'm a yes.
Okay. Vinnie Alinsky.
Yes.
Jane DeBarbieri.
Yes.
Doug Morash.
Yes.
And Mike Terrell is a yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Appreciate it very, very much.
Absolutely. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you. Joe Delaney, Westfield Veterans Council.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Joe.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Good. You've got a whole bunch of applications, probably all of which I'm guessing are just renewals from last year. Is that correct?
Well, yes, all except for two. We have not done the Patriots Day Ceremony, which is scheduled for the 18th of April, probably in like 5 years. Our Legion Post to the Veterans Council would like to try to do it again this year and bring it back. It was kind of like it stopped because of lack of participation and people going there to the ceremony. But we would like to try it again. And the same thing with the 104th Infantry up in Epperman Park. We haven't done that one in a couple of years, but we talked to the 104th Infantry and they would like to try to have it again this year in April. All the rest of them are the same ones as we have done in the past. So they're kind of renewals based on COVID protocols. Some of those items may change because we try to get people into Parker Memorial Park, but it would, like we did 2 years ago, we just did it live and we only had the people that were participating. So in the parades, we may end up canceling out based on what's recommended by the city of Westfield. But they are pretty much the same in the past.
Okay. So you've got a fair amount here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 8 requests.
That is correct.
So what I'll do, if the commissioners are okay with it, I'll read through them. We can pause at each one, and if there's any questions, we can ask questions, and then I'd like to approve them all as one as one vote, if that's okay with everybody, unless anybody has, a particular issue with, or questions about, one of the gatherings. So just bear with me here for a few seconds. We'll get through these. The first item I have here is 4/2/22, Veterans Recognition Day, Saturday, April 2nd, 1:00 p.m. at Parker Park. It looks like you're expecting around 40 people.
That is correct.
Okay. Any questions for Joe on that application? Okay, seeing none. We'll move to the second one. The second one that I have here looks like April 3rd, 2022. The Children's Easter Egg Hunt at Parker Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we're expecting around 30 people. Joe, is that correct?
That is correct. When we did this 2 years ago, we probably had like 10 kids, and the rest were parents trying to get the kids there. So it was a small gathering. So we're hoping it'll be a little bit bigger, but we're not sure until we see what happens come April, March timeframe.
Sure. Understood. Okay. Any questions for Joe on this one? All right. Seeing none. The next item I have is Patriots Day Ceremony, Monday, April 18th, 2022, 11 a.m. Parker Park, followed by historical walking tour of Parker Memorial Park. So this is one of the ones that we haven't done here in a few years. As you mentioned, Joe, it looks like 40 people. Anything special? Anything unique to this particular permit as opposed to?
The only thing that's different is when we were talking to Gene Thorough, who wants to put this day together, he had talked about doing a walking tour of the park. And he is very knowledgeable of all the different monuments there. So I think that's what he's planning to do, is to stay within the park and just explain the different historical parts of the different memorials there in the park itself. And that's something that I don't believe has been done before. So that's a new part. But the rest is just a basic, national anthem, a speech or two, and that's it.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions for Joe on this one? All right. Next one I have is the 104th Infantry Regiment Memorial, Saturday, April 30th. 11 a.m. at Apremont Park, and this is another one of the ones that looks like hasn't been done in a couple of years. 35 people estimated. Anything else unique about this gathering, Joe?
No, sir. Nope. It's just a normal thing. The only thing that would increase the numbers would be possibly the high school band, but again, based on their issues with COVID and stuff and getting together, they have not been there the last time. And then we stopped it for up there because it was the participation for both the veterans and the community was not there. But there's nothing special about that one.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Any questions for Joe on this application? Okay. Let's see. The next one we have is Memorial Day. Memorial Day Ceremony, Monday, May 30th, 11 o'clock at Parker Memorial, like up to 60 people.
Yes.
And again, this is a renewal. Any questions for Joe on this item? Okay. Seeing none, moving on. This item is Saturday, September 10th. September POW MIA Candlelight Recognition, Parker Memorial Park. It looks like up to 35 people expected. Any questions for Joe on the 9/10/22 gathering? Okay, seeing none. This one is November 11th. 2022, Friday, November 11th, Veterans Day Ceremony, 11 o'clock, Parker Memorial Park. Up to 100 people, it looks like. Any questions for Joe on this application? Seeing none. Home stretch here, Joe. We have 12/7/22, December Pearl Harbor ceremony, Kane and Woodrow Park on Elm Street. And it looks like we don't have a number on this. Any idea what your expected attendee number is for this one?
I think this past December, we had a decent crowd, and I would say there was probably about 50 or 60 people there. So I would estimate it to be around the same.
Any questions for Joe on this application? Okay. That is all of the applications for the Veterans Council. So I'll entertain a motion to approve. Anybody
I'll
have
make a motion to approve.
Okay, Sarah Unger with a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second
I'll
it.
second.
Second by Jane DeBarbieri. Any further discussion, questions, concerns for Joe? Okay, seeing none. Scott LeBombard,
Yes.
Sarah Unger,
Yes.
Ken McGarrian,
Yes.
Vinnie Alinsky,
Yes.
Jane DeBarbieri,
Yes.
Doug Morash,
Yes.
and Mike Terrell is a yes. Joe, thanks so much.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Absolutely. Thank you. You too. Next item on the agenda, Mike Raposo, Westfield Little League, permits for renewal ball fields, Cross Street, Hamden Ponds, Paper Mill, and Sadie Knox. Welcome, Mike.
How you doing, Mike? Thanks for having me.
Doing good. So standard renewals here, right? Same parks, no different considerations other than we've got two fields at Cross Street now.
No, it's pretty much the same. Paul Gore has also joined. He knows more about Sadie and softball side than I do.
Okay.
So he also joined tonight. But yeah, it should be pretty much the same this year. Like you said, there's the second field at Cross. Lights are back to being restored at Paper Mill, so that's good. We were without them for, I would say, 2 or 3 months. I think we got them back like end of September, maybe. But Elm Electric thought that it was actually a mouse that ended up causing the whole issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they found the remains when they were doing the work, and so that's what they think caused the issue. So I guess we'll never really know.
Well, that would be better than the lightning strike, because that was kind of a scare up there.
Yeah.
So real quick, Mike, Hamden Ponds, I know you probably won't know until after signups, but what are the prospects of, how is that senior program in terms of numbers these days?
So last year we had one team, and they actually ended up playing at the intermediate school for their home games, just because Hamden Ponds had been left alone for at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And we just didn't have the time or resources to get it playable for the kids. So we ended up playing home games at intermediate school. Supposedly, one of the neighbors up there, who I guess the field is named after his grandfather, Saul Frank, he's been working on it in his free time. So I'm not sure what it looks like at this point. I mean, we would love to play there if it's playable. And it also depends on how many teams we have. If we have more than one team, it makes it more complicated to use intermediate, because St. Mary's uses it as their home field. So
yeah. Okay. And Sadie Knox, what are the plans for tournaments or anything like that this year? I know we've had some concerns about parking up in that area, particularly for larger tournaments and stuff. Any plans to host tournaments or anything like that up there? I guess it would be a question for Paul.
Not that I know of, no. The parking I saw last year was a little bit on the street. I don't know what happened to the back lot. I don't know why that was never paved like they said they were gonna pave it, but no plans for tournaments.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
we
thank you.
don't have the state tournament this year, and I think that was probably the biggest draw.
Okay. Okay, and how there was some question a couple of years ago when we sat and talked through this about like the spacing between games, I think, and like how many concurrent people parking, like if one game gets over at 1 o'clock and somebody else comes in, is there another game right at 1 o'clock? Do we have like 2 games or potentially 4 games worth of cars there all at the same time, or were they spaced out more, like between game 1, game 2, game 3, say on a Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, there's been a concerted effort to space them out.
Okay. Any questions for Mike or Paul from the commission? Okay, no questions. We'll entertain a motion to approve we can do these, I think, as one approval for Westfield Little League, for Sadie Knox Playground, for Paper Mill Playground, for Cross Street Playground, and for Hamden Ponds Playground. So motion to approve. LeBombard with the motion to approve. And Sarah Unger with the second. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none. Scott LeBombard.
Yes.
Sarah Unger.
Yes.
Ken McGarrian.
Yes.
Vinny Alinsky. Vinny, did I hear Vinny?
Yes.
Yes. Jane DeBarbieri.
Yes.
Doug Morash.
Yes.
And Mike Terrell is a yes. Okay, Paul, thanks for coming tonight. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Have a
us.
great season.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks.
Okay, next item. We had Juanita Carnes. It looks like Kathy Patel, chair of the health, from the health department commission, for a silent tribute February 14th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Hi, I'm here.
Welcome, Kathy.
For having
This
us.
is of course, this is the same as last year's, right? This is basically
Correct.
the same thing, same format, same.
Everything's the same.
Yeah. Okay. You give us just maybe a couple of sentences on what it's for and sort of what the background is.
So the background is that we wanted to acknowledge in memory of people that we've lost in Westfield due to COVID. So it's an opportunity for families, and we're just doing a light ceremony downtown on the green, just to represent our citizens that we've lost in Westfield. And unfortunately, we're still doing it.
I know.
Numbers are not, but we just felt it was just a good time to do it on February 14th to have a memory of our loved ones that we've lost. So we just planned on doing it again this year.
Okay, and this is the one where we specifically requested that the lights be shut off, correct?
Correct. So that was my only, wanted to just put a reminder in there, and I can't remember who I have to talk to or send that email to for a reminder.
I would copy Peggy on it.
Yep.
But Scott Hathaway would be probably somebody in his group would be the folks that would actually turn off the lights special for that.
What I thought. Okay. Yeah.
Any questions for Kathy? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Vinalinsky, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Sarah, I think Sarah got in before you, Dane, with a second. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none. Scott LeBombard,
Yes.
Sarah Unger,
Yes.
Ken McGarrian,
Yes,
Vin Vinalinsky,
Yes.
Dane DeBarbieri,
Yes.
Doug Morash,
Yes.
and Mike Terrell is a yes as well. Kathy, thank you.
You.
Hopefully we'll have to do this again next year, right?
I know.
Hopefully next year. Thank you, guys. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Okay, Annalise Eck is Westfield Park or excuse me, not Westfield Park and Rec, Westfield Babe Ruth. I'm reading off the top of the letter here. Welcome, Annalise.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So you guys, this permit is essentially for Bolins Field, as it you guys would normally use it. I know from talking with Dan that I believe you guys have gotten the Starfire's schedule already. So I think you guys have gotten the dates that you need from a Babe Ruth perspective. And I know he mentioned Dan mentioned that he was with Ryan on the high school schedules as well.
Yeah, we received the Starfire schedule maybe a month ago. It was made public, and then we sent them all of our blackout dates for our regional, for the City Cup, in probably October. So we don't foresee any real challenges scheduling wise with them. And then, like always, we always defer to Westfield High School and the Technical Academy, and we hope to continue that pretty communal relationship with the athletic director there. But we don't anticipate any big problems for scheduling.
Great. So there's also an item in here just for folks that have the agenda in front of them. There's also an item in here for fencing around bullpens that Dan sent over. It was actually not meant to be on the agenda. There's no action there at this point. That was kind of more of a heads up from Dan that this portion, if you'll recall, Dan came to us a couple of meetings ago and proposed some changes that needed to be done down at Bolins. Westfield Babe Ruth has graciously put up a pretty good sum of money, and they've already started doing some of those upon our approval. This particular request, this fencing request for bullpen fences, was part of it that Dan wanted to make us aware of something that's probably going to come across our desk here in the next couple of months. So no action needed on that particular portion of it, but just in case there were any questions. Annalise, anything else in that regard about
I'm happy to speak on it a little bit further. Just to kind of give a little background on kind of where this is coming from. Starts back in 2019, where the city was given a grant, and there was a meeting between Ron Ricks and the Westfield Starfires and Babe Ruth to discuss kind of options that we could use it for at Bolins. And there was a pretty tight deadline to get that money spent. So most of it was put into field improvements, but there was not enough time for it to get done kind of how it maybe should have been. So the Starfires pushed for a pavilion along the first baseline to support their beer garden. That was made, and the bullpens were pushed over maybe 10 feet towards that hill that's on the first baseline, to offer more room for another bullpen and more fence to protect the pitchers and the catchers. So the bullpens were moved, the pavilions were put in, and then chain link fence was put in along that first baseline, extending out from our dugouts. But the fence that is there is not super adequate for long-term use. Only one catcher is really covered. There's nothing between the pitchers and the people that are sitting in that pavilion. And the fabric is just incredibly too light for the use that Bullens gets. There's no ties along the middle of the fence. There's no wire along the bottom to protect it from kind of curling up and out. And the Starfires players attach, that's their visiting bullpen. So they are attaching armbands to kind of pull against the fence. So with their 30 something home games, the fabric is stretching and it is pulling away from the bottom of the fence and the top of the fence. So Dan went out and got some quotes to make improvements, and there was really 3 options. So originally it was put in by Collier's Land Fence Company, but they are closing. So we went to Hasty Fence. There's 3 options. So the first option is reusing the fabric that's right there, adding a rail along the bottom and stronger ties along the top and the bottom to just kind of reattach that fabric, along with adding about 40 extra feet behind the pitchers and catchers. That was about $3,500 just to do that. Option 2 was replacing the current fabric with 8-gauge fabric and adding, again, that same mid rail and stronger ties on the top and the bottom. And that was about $5,000. And then option 3 is the same as option 2, but using a 6-gauge fabric, which Hasty kind of pushed for being the most logical and cost-effective long-term. And that was about $5,500. When we met with the Starfires in the fall, they also suggested that the bullpen fences go down further past the first baseline to prevent overthrows from the play hitting the beer garden in the area that's set up out there in right field. And they currently kind of have like temporary fence posts that are there. Hasty gave us a different quote for that in addition to the others, which would be 58 feet of new fence, the posts that need to go in, center rails, tension wires, all sorts of stuff, which was an additional $4,700. So our recommendation, and again, we're not asking for any money right now, is option 3 with that 6-gauge fabric and the extra fence, which would put the total right around $10,000. We've spoken to the Starfires and they're pretty set that it's a safety issue for them. And we're pretty confident that that will definitely be coming down to you at some point soon. But with all of the money that we've put into the field this year, we don't use the pavilion and we don't plan to pay for the repairs to the fence. But fence that's currently there just doesn't look consistent with the rest of kind of the higher elevation of play at Bullens. But it doesn't have really much impact on us or the high school outside of just curb appeal. But that is kind of our recommendation.
Okay. Thanks. And yeah, I know I did talk to Dan. Dan and I have had a few prior conversations about this as well. Kind of work with Fran and the folks at City Hall to hopefully get it into the budget planning for next year. So any questions for Annalise? I guess first of all, on the Bullens request, I think the Bullens request is kind of the easy one here. Standard dates, you guys work with the Starfires, with the school department. Any questions for Annalise on that application? Okay. And secondly, on the fence request, and we're not going to take a vote on that tonight. As I said, that's sort of something that is sort of just in the works and more of an FYI from Annalise. But any questions that anybody had regarding anything that Annalise brought up around that? Okay, seeing none. Can I get a motion to approve the application for the use of Bullens Field by Westfield Babe Ruth for the 2022 season?
Motion to approve.
All right, Scott LeBombard, motion to approve. Is there a second?
A second.
Jane DeBarbieri will second. Any additional questions or concerns? Okay, seeing none. Scott LeBombard,
Yes.
Sarah Unger,
Yes.
Ken Megarian,
Yes.
Vinnie Olinsky,
Yes.
Jane DeBarbieri,
Yes.
Doug Morash.
Yes.
Okay, and Mike Terrell is a yes. Well, Annalise, thank you. Hopefully, best wishes for a good season.
Thank you for having me. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too. Schedule of bills. Did everybody have a chance to look at the bills? Okay, any questions for Vinnie on those? Okay, seeing none. Staff reports, as we mentioned earlier, we don't have Scott Hathaway.
Mike, I have a
this
question.
evening. Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Annual review of seasonal salaries on the agenda.
Did I miss that?
It was right after the Board of Health.
I completely missed it. Vinnie. You're absolutely right. Commission's annual review of seasonal staff salaries, if any, salary changes, if any, for 2022. So each year, the commission, at the request of, this goes back to Mayor Sullivan, as a group, we revisit what those staff salaries are going to be, and this conversation originally started along with the conversation regarding the raise of minimum wage. So for the past few years, we've had a subcommittee that's gotten together and made recommendations based on sort of scrutinizing each of the positions, what their traditional wage has been, how long it's been since it's been changed, and what it is in comparison to wage. And we've gone through and suggested changes and brought those changes back to the larger commission. I would suggest that we do the same this year, and we refer that to a salary subcommittee to be brought back for potentially the February meeting for a larger discussion within the commission. Open any thoughts or concerns, if anybody has them. Okay, is there a motion to push this to subcommittee? First of all, subcommittee was myself, Scott LeBombard, Jane DeBarbieri, I believe, last time. Do we have commitment from Scott and Jane to participate again this time? Okay. Anybody else want to be involved in that conversation? Bentley?
Yeah, Mike, I think I did it 1 year, so I can help as well if you want.
Okay, Doug, you're in. Okay, so we will. So I guess we need a motion to push that to subcommittee. So is there a motion to take the annual review of salaries and push it to subcommittee to be brought back
Motion
at
made.
a later meeting? Motion made by Vinnie and seconded by
I'll second.
Sarah. Seconded by Sarah Unger. Any questions? All right, let's vote. Scott LeBombard.
Yes.
That's a yes. Sarah Unger.
Yes.
Ken Megarian.
Yes.
Vinnie Olinsky.
Yes.
Jane DeBarbieri.
Yes.
Doug Morash.
Yes.
And Mike Terrell is a yes. Thanks, Vinnie. Sorry, I don't know how I missed that. I read it 3 times and I still didn't see it even after you told me. Okay, schedule the bills. Let's go back to that one. We had I believe we had no questions. Has that changed in the last 5 minutes? All right, seeing none. Monthly staff reports, as I mentioned earlier, we have no Scott Hathaway. We do have Jim Blaschek with us. Jim, what do you got for us this month?
Oh, I was not available to send it today because I am home with COVID. So I jotted down a couple of things, not much going on. We're in the middle of basketball season, but our sophomore through high school divisions actually are finally starting games today, which is about a month later than we usually do, but we're starting games. So we ended up with 2 sophomore girls teams, 2 junior girls teams, 4 junior boys teams, 4 sophomore boys, 2 senior boys, and 3 high school teams. So we're going to play on Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays. And hopefully we won't go much longer than we normally do. Adding the Friday in, everyone will get a second game every other week. Because we don't want to go too far into March because that's when other sports start up. Our instructional and freshman division did start on time, so they only have 2 or 3 weeks left, depending on which session you're in. Peggy and I have been working on the brochure. We haven't sent it out for quotes or anything yet, but we'll be doing that next week. And then it usually comes out for March 1st, but now that we have the online system, it will probably be live by the end of the month, and people can start registering I would think by the end of January.
Got it. Okay, thanks, Jim. Any questions for Jim? Ken, yeah, go ahead.
Jim, youngsters playing basketball need to wear a face mask?
Correct. Everyone in the building. Oh, right now especially if you're in Westfield, you have to because it's a Westfield mandate. I actually sent a email to the 5 and 6 year old division again today to remind them all.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Thanks.
Hopefully this is the last.
Hopefully it's the last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions for Jim? Okay. That is it. That is the last item on the agenda. Next board meeting next commission meeting is scheduled for February 7th, 2022. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn made by Scott LeBombard and seconded by, for a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Jane DeBarbieri. Any further discussion? I'm assuming none. Scott LeBombard,
Yes.
Sarah Unger,
Yes.
Garion,
Yes.
Vinnie Olinsky,
Si, senor.
Jane DeBarbieri,
Yes.
Doug Morash,
Yes.
and Mike Terrell is a yes as well. That's it. Thanks, everybody.